Sometimes playing dumb is the smartest thing you can do, and sometimes it helps you save you and a bunch of your buddies caught in a prisoner of war camp. This week on American Loser.
Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Counted first, never last, still erased from the past. I am an American loser. No one remembers my name. No legacy and no future. One step behind in the game.
Oh, welcome back, folks. It's good to be here. Welcome back to yet another episode of American Loser Podcast. This is the spotlight that puts the spotlight. Wow, yeah, got that one wrong already. It's a podcast that puts a spotlight firmly on second place, folks. We're telling you weird, messed up stories from American history. If you are a loser devotee, welcome back. If it's your first episode, you picked a good one. We're in our gas digital era now, folks, okay? We've grown. And because of that, I have two great people here helping me make the show. First and foremost, happy Veterans Day to all those who served. Also, happy Veterans Day to the man who has seen more combat than myself, Mr. Armored Combat himself. Okay? Mike Harrington, how you feeling in there, buddy?
I'm now a veteran of 3 Skankfest fights, which I am victorious in all of. So feeling pretty good.
The streak is on the line here, buddy. All right? Just remember, the honor of this show is in the balance. Okay? So Mike Harrington's going to be getting into a big fight over here. And then also I want to say happy Veterans Day to Dom, who I believe was part of the October Guard fighting under Saddam Hussein. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you, buddy. It's Dom, just so you know, is a DEI hire, so whatever we need him to be for that particular week, we just change his ethnicities because no one's ever going to see him in the booth there.
Dominic Hussein.
And I'm stoked to bring him on. It's my first time getting to hang with him on the show here, buddy. He's been a good friend of mine we've actually known each other a long time.
Yeah, long time.
Derek Humphrey, super talented comic, great dude. We met, and I'll never forget it because I was still in the Navy at the time.
You were, yeah.
I left a crew-served weapons gun shoot early in Charleston, South Carolina to sneak over to Theater 99 to hang out with you and Dusty Slay.
That's right. Hell yeah, that's right. I didn't know you were like doing a gun exercise.
We were, because I was based out of Jacksonville, and so we
I remember that, Mayport, right?
Yep, I was Mayport down there, and then that unit was out of NAS Jacksonville, which is just a little bit of a nicer life, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And then we traveled up to Charleston, and I was looking around. I was like, well, what can I do for comedy-wise in the city? And when I'm actually hanging out in Charleston, and a couple people put me in touch with, I forget who even got me on it. What was the guy's
Mark
name?
Schlacka.
Yep, what a good dude.
Yeah.
What a good dude. Diehard Buffalo Bills fan. He's probably pretty happy right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, they lost this weekend, but he's overall.
The fact that they're good now, I was going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I text Mark every now and again because I watched that Buffalo Bills documentary they put on 30 for 30.
Oh, the Four Falls of Buffalo.
Four Falls of Buffalo, and I'm a Lions fan, but I always pick like a secondary team to root for, and I've been rooting for the Bills for the last few years for them to hurdle it.
I get that one, man. And
they fucking suck. But anyways,
they break your heart on that.
They break your heart. They break your heart.
Well, the Lions can break anybody's heart too.
That's true. That's true.
Now, as a current suffering Giants fan, I can understand that.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
My secondary team I was casually cheering for because I was stationed in Jacksonville was the Jaguars. So it's weird that they're doing better now. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's actually making me question a lot of my my hubris about why I always thought that it was better to be from up here than down there. Because
oh man, they got good football, good hockey, which is crazy. In Florida,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the best teams in hockey, from what I understand, is in Vegas. So climates don't matter anymore, man.
No.
Climate
change is real, but climates don't affect sports, folks.
Pretty soon we're going to be talking about how the NFL has a team in Paris.
That was the longest rumor. They were going to sell the Jaguars to London. London was going to have its own team. Yeah, they were waiting on that one. It's the Jaguars, as they would call them on there.
Jaguar.
Well, real quick, I should say Happy Veterans Day to you too, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Happy both Veterans in that weird Day. Life of veterans who then come into comedy, and we're like, honest question, by the way, have you met more sociopaths In comedy or the military?
I met more sociopaths I respect in the military.
What a good answer.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's funny. We both are veterans. We both look like we're waiting outside the VA for healthcare. We're at that stage of our veteran persona. But
I was told there's a free cell phone if I can get here by 9. That's what I was told.
I'll take that cell phone.
I have no pride anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, I've definitely. I mean, I met some crazy people in the military, but at least they were like doing it for us. To some degree you could extract like a value for our overall country. In comedy, it's just for themselves.
It's true.
Yeah.
Rather philosophical of you too, buddy.
Thank you.
Because I think the answer is my first couple years I found I met more sociopaths in comedy the first couple years early on. Mm-hmm. Like the I don't know, the idea that somebody could go on stage, get absolutely nothing, and then walk off stage and be like, went pretty good. I was like, that's a should be a sign where you're not experiencing emotions the same as the rest of us.
Right, yeah.
A couple of crazy people in the military. Now, I always forget, because I know you were obviously a sailor guy as well. Can't remember what you were on, though. You were on a ship.
I was on the USS Donald Cook. Which is it is akin to the guy that we're talking about today.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, in a roundabout sense, but yeah.
They like to have their weird connections too.
Yeah. I was on the USS Donald Cook. I was in from 2000 to 2005.
You have one of my favorite. You have a couple of my favorite stories, but one of the things I loved is when you and me both treat the military thing the same way. Because I don't know how long you were in Charleston for, but one of the hack moves for comics down there was to say, give it up for the troops. That was like, let me hear y'all. Like that guy, it turned into, this would be gross. When I would mention I was in the military, I would have to very quickly explain that I'm not a Green Beret or something. I'm not trying to, get a cheap clap at it. And you have my favorite line, and I apologize if I don't want to do your joke on here, but you used to always say, you mentioned you were in the military, because we were on a show at West Side together one time, and it was all veterans on the lineup, which is tragically one of the few times we get to hang out. But.
Right, yeah. I always love that show. I'm surprised they didn't do that this year.
I think, I don't know what the deal was on that one. It's, typically I can guarantee November and March I'm going to work a lot on account of the Navy thing and then the Irish thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Those are my good months.
That was until I started performing like regularly at clubs, that was like my only encounter with Attell was the veteran shows, because he would always he's such a sweetheart. He would always do like veteran benefit shows, especially that one at West Side. Now I see him a little bit more, and it's a different vibe now. But yeah, no. Whenever I'm on the road and I want a cheap applause break, I tell people I'm a veteran, and whenever I'm in New York on my cheap applause break, I tell people I'm a feminist. Why do a thing when you can just say you're a thing? And
your line was always great. You just, as soon as they started clapping for you when you said you were in the Navy, you were like, "Yeah, under Clinton, guys." Just like, tape your expectations down a little bit.
Yeah. I joined under Clinton. Yeah, I'm not a hero. I joined during peacetime. It's funny. I joined actually. The day I joined was the day that the USS Cole got bombed.
Which is crazy. I was out to sea with the USS Cole a couple of times.
Oh, no kidding.
Once they rehabbed it and put everything back in.
I was on. So I joined the day the USS Cole got bombed, and I got home. I didn't know it was happened, And I got home and I had an answering machine. I was an adult when I joined the Navy. I had an answering machine, like one with a tape inside of it that you would have to
Hell yeah.
You record your own messages or whatever. But my mom had left me a message, and I called her, and she was like, "Hey, the USS Cole got bombed. If you want to back out, we won't hold it against you." I'm like, that's what the job is to like put yourself in danger in case like you get, blown up in Aden, Yemen. And the ship that ended up saving the Cole from drowning, from submerging, was the USS Donald Cook.
No way.
Yeah, it's the one I ended up getting stationed on.
See, that one's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
It is. The joke is that it's a small Navy, and I've always found that to actually be more true than I want it to be.
Yeah. I was in Charleston. Charleston has a comedy club now.
No way.
Yeah, instead of just the improv theater is great, but now they have like a proper stand-up club. And I was down there, and the bartender who was working one night, she just happened to be in the military, and we were talking about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I was in the Navy." I was like, "What ship?" And she was like, "The USS Donald Cook." It's small world, man.
I had a listener that was still serving on the USS Carney, which was my first ship.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, it's great out here." I was like, "Yeah, because you live in Spain now, dude. I lived in Jacksonville when I was on that boat."
That's where the cook ended up getting stationed. That's where she was at. Was
so
Spain.
cool.
I think she was in Rota.
Yeah, Rota, Spain. That's where they wound up, man.
You went to Rota?
No, this is how ridiculous. I've seen. It's truly an even split of what have I seen more of the world from, comedy or the U.S. Navy. I was in Jacksonville the whole time. They took me to Virginia once for a weapons unload in Yorktown.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm a history nerd. I've been to Yorktown before.
Yeah.
And then they took me, I swear to God, this is entirely true. We went, it was the Henry Hudson Festival, and we came, they're like, "Hey guys, we're all going to New York. You're all going to go to New York." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I actually timed my terminal leave to leave that place. And I got there and I was like, "Okay, so I can leave upon arrival in New York. My family can come pick me up and I can show them the boat and everything." And they're like, "Yeah, you're actually 2 days short, so you have to go on Liberty 2 days in New York City and hang out with you." I was like, "Do you guys think I'm not going to get hammered drunk the entire time I'm there?"
Right, yeah.
So, meanwhile, all these poor kids from, who'd never been to the city before, they're like, "Yeah, there's a place called Scores right over here. It's amazing, man. Oh my God, it's amazing." I was like, "Guys, walk 4 more blocks, go actually check out New York." Then we're in uniform. I got me and a couple of drunk buddies on to, it was Sunday Night Baseball, Yankees, Red Sox. Jeter ties the all-time, ties Lou Gehrig for the all-time Yankees hits record.
Oh,
there.
no shit.
And we were on
That's
TV because we were in uniform. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the next day, hungover as hell, my entire family shows up. I can't even look straight. I'm just kind of like, I'm almost holding myself up on stuff. And I was like, "Grandpa, this is the boat that I was on." He goes, Yeah, you did good. You did good. And then they rang the bell, and I was out of the Navy for about 3 months. And then the reserves called up, and they said, "Hey, you have to report to your new reserve unit. You got changed orders, and you're not showing up."
Oh, they stop-lossed you that way.
So it was weird. I thought it was a stop loss, but it wasn't. It was I was going to my reserve weekends, 1 weekend a month, folks. It's sometimes that's my comedy schedule too. Hate to tell you, but they sat there and they told me, they're like, "Yeah, you've been missing all your drill weekends." I was like, "Well, then what am I showing up at this other place for?" And they're like, "Yeah, your orders changed. They're supposed to tell you." So I was like, "All right, I'm going to go." I remember walking in there. I was like, "Hey guys, there's been a confusion. I'm not actually going to be here." And they're like, "So cool, we got to send you off to training. And we'll get you a uniform and get you all this other," because it was a boots on the ground unit.
Yeah.
I was working with the Seabees at this point. And then I'm sitting there in the indoctrination meeting, which is where you meet everybody. And they're like, "Yeah, so we're getting ready to deploy, folks. You guys are going to be a crucial part of it." And I was like, "Guys, I'm literally," I felt like Dante from Clerks. I was like, "I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Right.
There's no part of me that's buying into this." And there I am, next 2 years of my life with that unit.
Oh my God, that's fucking sucks. I was in Yorktown during 9/11, or when 9/11 kicked off, and then we responded to 9/11, and then we were out at sea for 3 weeks, and then we pulled into Mayport, and that was I'd never been so happy to see Jacksonville, Florida after 9/11. And I remember one night we had to go, like, our captain was like, he was a hard ass, but he was great. I mean, like, JJ Costello, if he kicked in the door right now, I was like, "Humphrey, I need you." I'm like, "I'm out of here." I love the guy.
Ride into hell with him kind of
Oh,
dude.
fuck yeah. He was the man. But we had to go. So we had a hard Liberty. We had a hard, like, you had to be back,
By the way, Liberty, just to explain to the audience, Liberty is when you're allowed to leave at the end of your workday kind of a thing. Leave is when you're on paid vacation and they can't mess with you. But Liberty, they can mess with you. They can say, "Oh, you got to be back at 4 o'clock, 1600, whatever you want to call it."
Yeah, we had like midnight balls. So we had to go, like, it was a bunch of us who were like E4s who rented a car, and we had to go collect the division petty officers from the strip club that was like right outside the base. And I remember grabbing one of my buddy Dennis, and I was grabbing him, and I was like, "Hey man, we got to head back, man. They're actually, not only do we have to report back, you're so drunk they're kicking you out." And he was like, "Man," he looked around, he's like, "These whores are acting like we're in church or something." Oh man,
My one of my boot camp buddies got into comedy. Davey Bohannon, he's a Philly guy, great dude.
Nice.
And we were just trading stories about like what happened. I was like, yeah, so they had me welding, and then I wound up carrying a gun overseas, and it was weird. Like I never actually knew what the hell I was doing. I never actually did my job. And he goes, oh yeah, me neither. Pretty much my whole time in Korea, my job was just to go to the whorehouse and then negotiate down the prices. And then once we negotiated the prices, then I'd come out and tell everybody else what they're willing to do it for.
Right.
So they couldn't try to run the gambit on the next guy.
Do people send you like clips of Gary Owen?
No.
Because he was a Navy guy?
Was he really?
Yeah,
That explains
yeah.
a lot about him, actually.
It does for sure. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But people send me clips of Gary Owen. Like just like, hey, you were in the Navy. You should. Because I don't really talk about it a whole lot in my comedy. I mean, I haven't been in the Navy. What year is it? I haven't been in the Navy for 20 years. Now
It's nuts. I still got friends in that are pretty much on their last tour right now.
dude, I have friends who I was in with who've retired. My buddy, I would have went if it was in Virginia, but he retired out of California. And when he showed up, he was like a 17-year-old kid, and now he's retired. He did 24 years, and he's younger than me, right? So like he's retired at 41 and going on to his next career. And I'm like, oh man, I'll take that free phone from the VA.
We chased our dreams, Derek.
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
out.
yeah.
There was more for us than just the confines of haze gray and underway.
Yeah.
We had things we wanted to do, things we had to say.
Mm-hmm.
This
That's
week's
why you're
loser
Gas
did
Digital.
It's 100%. Which, by the way, folks, use promo code loser, get $1 off a month on the show. You check out everything else like the legendary Legion podcast. Harrington, is that bit up yet? All right, Legion of Skanks, folks. It was a bit the whole time. If you didn't know,
And listen to me on the Gate.
On the Gate.
I've been doing on the Gate.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
It's a fun one.
I also not for nothing, Harrington. Sweet little Mike Cannon is back here at the
just launched Fart Carnival. Mike Cannon
him
and
Sags.
Brendan
Sags, who I love.
Sags.
Mike Cannon's like my older brother in comedy.
Nice.
I just I clung on to him immediately when I was, because in Jersey I'm very grateful for all my friends over there, but just to have somebody that went to high school in the same decade as me bring me around on the road, and I was like, oh wow, we can talk about Jeremy Shockey, like you actually wow, man, you understood what a Tamagotchi was. This is insane.
Yeah. Cannon's great. Sags is great.
Well, they're back on the network now, so I'll bring those two new guys around. I'll show them the ropes here, Harrington. We'll figure it all out. I do have to. I'm going to dive into the topic a little bit here,
Of course.
but I always, anytime you think of a Navy story, though, brother, jump in. It's a barroom conversation. We're having fun. This is me hanging out with my friends. We happen to make, we have to make a podcast in order for me to be able to do it, because that's my responsibilities at home. Keep growing.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Well, like I was saying, sometimes pretending to be dumb is actually the smartest thing that you can do. And this week's topic is a Navy man like myself and like Mr. Derek Humphrey over here. And the Navy gets a bad rep sometimes. How much of it is earned, do you think, versus how much of it is like there was, when people shit on the Navy, sometimes you're like, oh, they're 100% right. That's exactly what it is. And then there's other times when you're like, where are you guys getting this from?
Right. The only one that I say that isn't true is the gay one. Because they always do, 100 sailors go down, 50 couples come back, that sort of thing. And the only reason I know we had gay guys who were in, no disrespect to them or anything like that, but like the guys who, we pull into port and they go to whorehouses. They get women, man. I don't know what to tell you. Or, or you could just pick girls up if you had any fucking game at all. You know what I mean?
I was in a weird spot with it where I was like, okay, the uniform's going to get me a lot more action. And then I showed up and I was in engineering department. They're like, yeah, you're never going to wear your uniform, by the way.
Right. Coveralls forever.
Now I'm just living in coveralls. I look like I work at a Jiffy Lube. And,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, I'd say, certain aspects of it, like dirty sailors, not even in terms of like cleanliness, but just like carrying STDs. Mm-hmm. I'd always hear some guy in berthing just like taking a piss and be like, God damn it, she got me. you know, because like they said, you know, it felt like piss and gasoline, you know, and then God, what's another, you know, a girlfriend in every port, that sort of shit. Like that's pretty accurate, I'd say.
It was. I never saw the amount of guys that could run around on multiple women. Like I don't have it in me. I just don't. Like I'm sure if I had it, then maybe I would debate doing it, but. Having one connection with somebody is such a it takes so much from me to try
Sure.
that and by the way, the girl I was with when I was in the Navy was not a great person. She ruined my life shortly after I left the military. But even then, I just didn't have it in me to cheat on her.
Right.
Like it was, and there were so many opportunities. There was one. We were in Dubai, and I'll never forget it. It was my roommate in Dubai. He was telling me, he goes, hey man, you can come hang out if you want, but we got a couple of the neighbor girls coming over. And he was a nice guy, kind of a folksy dude. And he's telling me, he goes, he's like, yeah, these girls, they're over here. They're all real pretty. They all work. They're servers in restaurants. And then I walked out in the living room for a second. I'm like, these are Eastern European whores, sir. Do not insult me by telling me.
Yeah. My cousin was in around the same time, and he was stationed over in Italy. I forget it was like one installation. It was like maybe like one or two ships. It was real like small,
right.
You know, for whatever reason. I actually tried to get onto his boat, and he told me about the Eastern European women. He was like, you got to get over here. I'm like, all right. And I never did. I honestly, I'm too Catholic for that sort of shit. I actually fucked around. I never cheated on any women, but I never committed to any either. But I actually feel like I was running around more in comedy than I was ever in the Navy. As I think more scumbags are in comedy than I think the military.
There is the same one where you're like, you'll sit there because I can't lie, like it just depresses me. So it's so I just have to be on. It's not like a noble quality of mine. I just don't want to be depressed.
I'm too dumb to lie. Like to that
that's
degree.
That's a factor too.
Yeah. I can't keep up like lies like that.
Yeah. So there was multiple times in both the Navy and in comedy where I was sitting there and I was like, oh, I should say something about the person's significant other, but I was like, I don't know if the other person. Nah, he might not want people to know he's married.
Right.
And then you kind of you're playing that weird. You don't want to accidentally sabotage something, but at the same time, it gets comedy. I saw that a bunch too, where there's this girl always comes out and sees me when I'm in this town. So that was their version of a girlfriend in every port.
Right. Yeah. My thing was, I mean, especially when I started in comedy, I was in Charleston, South Carolina. At the time, there was like they had a couple colleges there. And it was just a beach town, and there were like 4 women for every 1 guy. Like statistically, for like between the ages of 18 to 36, it was just like it was especially coming from the Navy. It was like getting out of jail and going to Shangri-La, because it was like I'm leaving shitty Norfolk, fucking Virginia.
Oh, the worst.
Oh man! In fact, I did the Virginia Beach Funny Bone this summer, and I drove around Norfolk, and it hasn't changed at all.
No,
it's the same
perennial
place.
Depression.
It's the same place. I kind of missed it. It's the first time I've been back in 20 years. But you leave there, and there's no. And since everybody's military, either you're like wifed up, or like they're women who are looking to be with like a military guy, or they hate the military. And I was gone so much. I never established any relationships with anybody there. It's not like I had connections to people or anything like that. And so then you're out at sea with like the women are typically like kind of bullish in their ways, and then going to a beautiful beach town with young women was awesome. It was just great.
It's hard to argue with that one, man. The one key I would say too with the military stuff was, I want to explain this actually to Harrington. So when we say a Norfolk girl, this is Derek knows exactly what I'm talking about on this one. It's kind of like I think the term is chuckle fuckers for girls who hook up with comics, right? But just to make sense of this one for you, buddy, Norfolk girls who grew up in the Norfolk, Virginia area, because everyone's military, if they ask you when you meet them at a bar, and they'll be cute enough, whatever. There's no stunners down there. They've all moved on, but they'll ask you, "Oh, what's your rate?" and or yeah, what's your rank rather? And then when you tell them, they already know in their head. They can do the math of how much child support you have to give them. And that's what they warn you about. They say, if you're going to hook up with girls anywhere, it goes, if you hook up with a girl in Australia, there's a chance that you might have to leave the Navy and go live on her farm because she wants you to take over the farm because apparently Australian men are pigs. So marrying an American husband is like the desire for every Australian man with a daughter. I hope my daughter marries an American. And the converse of that, or inverse, I don't know how I'm using that word, is when you're down in Norfolk, they're like, dude, don't. Nothing, because they will take you for every penny. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And then also keep in mind, your catch-all safety net is Filipino women will marry anything. You tell me where I'm wrong on that one, okay?
I never did. I dated one chick in Norfolk, and that was about it. And because also that was a trap too, to have to stay in the military forever. If you get like wifed up, it's like you don't usually get out.
No, it was. I played it smart because in my head I was going to be an actor and a writer when I got out. I remember that one, and they're like, "Why don't you just do comedy?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I was like, "I'll go do comedy in New York City." And then boom, I'm at the Jacksonville Comedy Zone sitting there, and I was like, and then
you should have went the Adam Driver route.
I do. There's something.
He was
cool
a
about
Marine.
him. Yeah, Marine Corps.
Yeah. And then now he's Han Solo's kid.
The weirdest one is what do you got, Harrington?
I was going to say that my best friend, I was actually the best man at his wedding, was a Marine who was stationed in Jackson, North Carolina. And that had that same reputation of like, there's 6 dive bars in this town, and everyone has a 5.5 who's really looking for a payday.
Oh, yeah.
It's gambling financially and also with your own genitals. It's I hate to say it.
Also pretty sketchy if you check the Craigslist casual encounters in an area like that. A lot of military wives looking to make some side money while their husbands are deployed.
That one, I saw that one too, where it was a woman that my buddy was hooking up with was saying, she's like, yeah, so, we're just having fun for right now. In about 80 days, my husband's coming home and you guys will never see me again. And that's when I was like, oh, but what if I see you? And I'm like, oh, cool, Larry's ex-girl. You can. So I don't want to lie. Don't make me complicit in your lie. That's all I've ever asked of anybody.
Right, yeah.
Also because I won't remember to do it. I really just won't remember.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, there's always... to get into the topic on this one, I apologize. I'm having fun just shooting the shit. We're this close to just being at Applebee's together right now, Derek. But some of the stuff with the Navy, just to give you kind of the feeling or the vibe over there. And don't worry, folks, there is a zeitgeist drop coming eventually. So, but there's always a certain amount of stereotypical characters in the military. Cocky country dudes that thought they were going to be athletes until they had to compete with black kids. Black kids who chose the military because it was something to do till their music career picked up. Filipinos that seemingly have to join the military as part of their birthright. Incels hoping for a chance to finally get laid in the uniform. That was kind of probably me a little bit, to be honest.
A little bit me.
Kids who swore that a judge made them join because they got in so much trouble back home.
That was my grandpa.
See, that would be the generation where that happened. But by the time I was joining, every kid were like, dude, you're here because you don't want to go to community college. Just admit it. That's all it is.
My grandpa was, he was in the Marines at 16. It was World War II. So they're taking
different time, different animal.
Different animal for sure. When I was in, and I speaking of people like trying to be athletes and whatnot, I was in boot camp with a guy who played for the Raiders. And he only made it through preseason. He got cut. And he played at Washington State with Ryan Leaf. So he played with Ryan Leaf. He was Ryan Leaf's running back, and then he competed against, I think it was Napoleon Kaufman at the time, for the Raiders. And he was he was my size, but he was, and now granted this is like 100 pounds ago even for me, but he was like shredded, and he was as fast as the Haitian guy. And then he could do 100 push-ups, no problem, 2 minutes, But the funniest thing was we went to go do our float test.
Yep. I was going to wait for it.
Can't swim. Believe it or not. And the SEALs were making fun of him because he was like, you can see all his abs and everything like that. And they're just clowning this guy.
There was a kid who was, he came in, he told us he was going to join the SEALs. He was going to go pre-buds, and then he couldn't swim. So to the point where he got held back and he had to graduate with our division because of it. Yep. Yeah, how'd that work out for you, buddy? Now, by the way, nothing but respect for the people who give it a shot. I was too much of a coward to even try it.
Yeah.
There's another. There's two people in the military, two archetypes in the military that I think are worth mentioning. One is dumb guys who are convinced they are smart, right? Which I fell into that a couple of times.
Yeah.
But we had sea lawyers, those people who were like, "Oh, actually, you're not allowed to be scheduled more than this amount of maintenance for this time, and this is actually unsafe here." All the rules go out the window.
Right.
We're in Norfolk. Not Norfolk. We're in Yorktown. And I'll never forget this. If you wanted to smoke a cigarette, you had to walk about
down that pier.
Down the pier to the smoking tent.
Yeah.
And you couldn't use a cell phone because they were afraid that either the cigarette or the cell phone would trigger the weapons that you were unloading onto the ship.
Yep.
So all I did was point out, I said, "Hey guys, why am I welding?"
Right.
And they just said, "Burke, quit with your bullshit right now." They just put me right in my, I was like, all right, I guess whatever, hands up. But, and then the opposite of that is guys that would seem dumb but are actually super smart, and that's the guy we're talking about here today.
Yeah.
Did you know this guy's story at all beforehand? Or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's pretty baller. Military's a little bit of an experiment. It has members from all religious backgrounds, different parts of the country, people born outside the U.S. that see it as a chance for citizenship, or at the very least, 3 hots and a cot. You said Haitians before. I'm convinced that one of the Haitian kids in my unit, I think when he got his boots, I think that's the first time he ever had boots in his life.
I could see that, yeah.
Now, shoes he understood. Shoes was fine in them. But watching him kind of walk around awkwardly, I was like, and then...
It had been all sandals up until then.
It really probably was. But it's interesting because today's loser is a kid of Norwegian descent who was born in South Dakota in 1946. The Dakotas are a tough place. You have to be smart if you're going to survive out there. So it's a little bit of the country strong meets the endurance part of it, but also you have to just not be... You can't be stupid and just count on the kindness of other people out there. You got to be able to make it. So they're a very interesting place, specifically South Dakota, who in particular seems to provide very notable people of certain types. Out in South Dakota, if you're looking for attractive female possible psychopaths, I can offer you Christy Nome, Tommy Lahren, Mammy Van Doren, who is like the forgotten Marilyn Monroe of her time frame.
Oh, okay.
As well as brutal types of strong fellas like Barack Lesnar, former NFL tight end legend Dallas Clark, current Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert, I believe, is from South Dakota. And then also current first-round pick of the Seattle Seahawks, Gray Zabel. And then, of course, how do you talk about the Dakotas and not name the craziest, coolest dude ever from out there? Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
Yep. So got a lot of stuff going on out there.
Wild Bill?
So Wild Bill Hickok, he wasn't from there, but he died in Deadwood.
He died there.
Yeah,
that's right.
Deadwood.
Yeah, in Deadwood.
Now, by the way, there's also so I've shown you some crazy hot girls that are capable of, cooking your dog in front of you. And then I've also shown you just like a lot of big, dumb, strong guy looking type people. Like the old school German barbarian type looking dudes. But there's some charming people in Dakotas as well. You have January Jones from Mad Men. Yeah.
Never would have guessed.
Bob Barker, who I found out grew up on an Indian reservation.
No kidding.
I had no clue on
what
that.
a charm life that guy had.
It's the Price is Right. That's I feel like that was how he learned how to do all that. Was he was just negotiating for beads and blankets on the reservation.
That guy went from an Indian reservation. I think he was he in the military? Because he seemed like one of those World War II or Korea guys.
It wouldn't shock me if he was in.
Yeah, and then the Price is Right, and I heard they had to put in a rule where he wasn't allowed to sleep with any of the women on the show because he was sleeping with all of them.
He had that dog in him.
And then the greatest cameo in a comedy with Happy Gilmore.
10,000%.
Oh my God, what a legend!
It's inarguable. Speaking of other legends from the area, though, Tom Brokaw, who I believe wrote The Greatest Generation,
he did, and he was the news guy,
and obviously solid news guy as well too. And then this is going to be, I'm just going to guess that this is your and my favorite person from South Dakota, and I say this as a guy who has spent a lot of time looking at Tommy Lahren's outfits online. Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh, wow. Mean Gene's from there.
Mean Gene from the Dakotas.
Wow. Never would have guessed.
Well, this week's loser is born out in the Dakotas in the 40s. It is not until the 60s when he's able to help save many lives by doing something kind of dumb, then playing extra dumb, and then he gets his Kaiser Soze moment in the end when he gets a true last laugh at his enemies. He's going to join the U.S. Navy immediately after graduating high school in 1966. I tried to not go right into the military.
Same.
I knew I was going to wind up doing it, but I was like, let me try. I was working at Fountains of Wayne. We were building, installing fountains, and they were like, you could have a future here if you want. You're doing good work. And
Fountains of Wayne, I only know the band.
that it is named after the place. It was also in season 3 of The Sopranos. There's a whole big... That's what put them on the map, was that Sopranos filmed there, so they had pictures of the whole cast and everything up on the wall.
Gotcha, okay.
But that was my job, where I was just drinking and then playing video games with guys on steroids who were threatening me if I beat them. So it was definitely, I was at a tattoo party in a basement, and we weren't sure if the guy was using the same needle on everybody or not.
Yeah.
It was that kind of a life. I said, maybe it's time to join up.
Yeah. Mine too. Mine was in Ohio, and like... Everybody, I tried college for a bit. I flamed out in that. And then all my friends were still in college. And then I was like working, and I was putting myself through night school. And I said, man, at the end of the day, I'm still, even when I graduate school and I'm working, I'm paying all this money, I'm going to live in Ohio. And I was like, I got to get the fuck out, man.
Nobody works harder than people from Ohio, because they know that if they don't, they can't leave.
Right.
That's my theory on that. Yeah. I'm not even trying to shit on the state. I just see how many people are from Ohio that made it big, and I was like, that's how tough it has to be out there. You have to make it. Even LeBron left. What are you going to say?
Yeah. Even LeBron left. Yeah. So I was the same way. I was like, I get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And eventually I just caved in. I was like, I'm going to do it.
It's I think I had to wait 2 months before I could actually join up. So I had the paperwork signed and everything, and that 2 months of waiting is the worst period of my life. I ran out of seasons of Rescue Me to watch. I was going through every pod. You're like, God, I just want to leave already. And then the day comes, and you're like, man, I wish I just had one more day.
I wish I joined out of high school, just because I could have just not fucked around for 4 years. After wasting my time trying college.
There's something to it. There was a kid in my boot camp division who missed his prom because he had to leave for boot camp, and I was like, that's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Fuck prom.
Well, this kid was great. Our loser we're talking about today. He again graduates high school in 1966, immediately joins the U.S. Navy. It's now time, folks, for a little bit of Zeitgeist. We have drops, Derek.
That's awesome.
The year is 1966. Lyndon Baines Johnson is president. The Beatles will play their final concert just as the show The Monkees debuts. Cigarettes are finally given the hazardous to your health label, which, as we know, ended smoking overnight. Yeah. Walt Disney dies of lung cancer. I wonder if those two things are intertwined a little bit.
Interesting.
America has to wait one more year before the Super Bowl will become a thing. Anne Margaret has guys feeling a little bit uncomfortable when she's dancing around spastically on stage in her tights, and they're wishing they were cool like Elvis. Elvis is showing the world just how far you can get with looks and charm, and Richard Speck is showing us just how awful it can be when you have none. If you guys get that joke, that's very much worth it. I expect timestamps, and people telling me in the comments when they got that one. Richard Speck, 1966. But most important to our story today is Vietnam's continuing to escalate. And we got this nice little Norwegian boy from South Dakota, fresh out of boot camp and advanced training. You want to explain to people, because people thought, even like my family, and people I really respect that I know are intelligent people, they couldn't tell the difference between boot camp and advanced training. And I was trying to explain it in my head how it go about it to the audience. You want to give it a crack?
Yeah, advanced training is when they give you your night vision goggles and your 2 sniper rifles and your big serrated blade, and then you tie a bandana around your head and flex. No, okay. All right, sorry.
It's essentially Rambo 3.
Yeah, it's Rambo 3. No, advanced school is where you learn your precise job of what it is you're going to be doing while you're stationed or whatever. So,
right. What was your rating again? You always tell me.
Damage control.
So you were damage control. I was hull technician, so we were...
Yeah, we would have been the same division.
Yep. We also, ironically, would have been in the same shop that the USS Cole got the impact on,
hit.
And we would have died.
Yeah. That would have been a real tragedy for everybody.
So if you're taking this podcast for granted right now, folks, just know, in another world, it's I'm floating somewhere off the coast, somewhere off the coast of Yemen.
Yeah, floating at the bottom for me. Yeah, so for example, for my school, so what damage control basically was hull repair if you get hit by a missile or projectile or anything like that, firefighting, chemical, biological, radiological warfare. I personally was an EMT as well, and then so you learn these specialized things like in my A school in Chicago.
Yep, we went to the same one.
You were in the same one. They have like a simulated ship where they have water that they dump on you to like simulate like flooding.
The wet trainer, folks.
The wet trainer, yeah. And then we had like a fire trainer, so like if you ever seen the movie Backdraft or I don't know any other firefighting movies, but like where they put you like in a trainer where they light you on fire basically, and you're in your whole get up and everything like that, like the firefighter's outfit, your SCBA, your oxygen tank, for lack of a better term. And so you learn like the basic skills that you need to be a part of your unit. So when you get assigned, you're not just a fucking idiot,
It's all this awesome, cool stuff they train you. And then you get out there and I went to that and then I went to welding school. Like, yeah, you're going to be welding all the time out on the ship. And then you get to the ship and then they're like, hey, by the way, so your real job here is plumber. So I hope you're not nervous around feces because that's what you're going to be digging out from underneath your fingernails for the next year and a half.
Oh, my God. The HTs, man, I felt so bad for them because they were just always chasing the red-nosed river rats. For lack, for context, that is a tampon.
Yeah, we had no women on board at first, so that was the thing. But
you were all male?
It was an all male ship. When I got
we
there.
were women. We had women on ours.
They ended that one pretty quickly, though. I think within a year we had women on board, and then the troubles began. But,
you're not wrong there.
Flushing pencils down the toilet, apple cores, and these are all vacuum powered toilets too. Not that anybody cares about this part, but this was all the stuff that I had to. I remember sitting there and being like, I'm a firefighter is what I'm telling people. Like if I wanted to seem cool in front of a girl, yeah, when I go to the Navy, I'm going to be a firefighter. And I think I went to the fire trainer one more time. We ran plenty of drills out at sea.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was me taking a screwdriver and digging out some god-awful thing out of, which, by the way, I got to revisit recently because my younger stepson flushed a Paw Patrol toy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we had to sit there, and I got to see what rubble looks like if he's covered in a couple days' worth of fecal matter.
Oh, God damn, that's... thank God I have fucking kids.
It's just Paw Patrol on a roll, dog. But again, we're over here in Vietnam now. Our boy is going to get out of his advanced training, which comes after boot camp, as Derek just helped us explain. He gets himself stationed at a place called Dixie Station, which is in South Vietnam along the Mekong Delta. This station is Dixie Station because there's stations up north that are known as Yankee Station. So we're still playing the North versus the South around this time.
Right, yeah.
Even though you're literally 100 years removed from the Civil War. But
Right. But that's back when they're still flying Confederate flags.
It's, well, depending on where you're at, they're still flying them, right?
Yeah. Actually, I see more in Maine than I do in the South.
It is strange how that one works because you hear some people justify where they're like, yeah, we're just against like an overreaching federal government. And I was like, you should just get your own flag.
Right.
You should make your own. Don't tread on me works pretty well too, right?
Right. Last summer, I was in Germany with my mom and we were driving on the Autobahn and there was a semi in Germany with a Confederate flag on that. I was like, man, you really are dedicated.
It's, to take somebody else's, well, I mean, we see plenty of nonsense
we do
over
that
here too, don't we?
Yeah. Cultural appropriation, I believe, is what they call that.
That's the right word. That's the right word. Our boy Hegdahl gets assigned to a ship known as the USS Canberra, which is a World War II era ship that had been modernized into a Boston-class guided missile cruiser. When a ship becomes Boston-class, folks, that means it votes Democrat even though it's racist. But you actually had some sort of a tie-in to his ship, the Canberra?
No. My ship, the Donald Cook. Well, so this guy was a POW.
Yes, eventually he's about. So this is when he's first arriving on his ship at the Dixie Station.
So is Donald Cook.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, it was also a POW as well. The ship that I would like.
Interesting.
The soldier that our ship was named after.
Dude, that's now all right. So without getting too far ahead of myself here, are they going to be compatriots in this?
No. But it was just they had similar sort of backstories where they were helping out fellow POWs.
That's awesome.
In a heroic fashion.
Well, now I got to check out Donald Cook for an episode too.
You do. Yeah.
The angriest episode we ever had was I forget what. So
What do you mean by angriest? Like the everybody who listened was mad, or like you were mad?
my old sound engineer, great kid. His name is Christian Cordes, the Big Kahuna we called him. Great kid. His dad and uncle were PM Dawn from 90s hip hop.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so he's I love him like family, and he got so angry because we did an episode on Dory Miller, who was Cuba Gooding Jr. played him in Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay.
And Dory Miller was denied the Medal of Honor, and I'm trying to remember the senator from Georgia that stopped it, but they named a ship after him as well. And literally the whole time, it was just him screaming. I hate doing that to you, Harrington. Could you look up who denied Dory Miller the Medal of Honor?
Senator Jeff Racist.
It's honestly, it is one of those names because my cousin Megan actually had a shirt made up for Kahuna that said, because the guy did a bunch of good stuff too, but stopping African American from getting the Medal of Honor for taking down Japanese planes during a surprise attack. What do you got, buddy? You're on it.
Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox.
No, it wasn't Frank Knox. It was it was a Georgia senator. As soon as I hear his name, it's going to click with me. But Kahuna was literally standing up in the sound booth, screaming and like tearing apart phone books because he just wanted to go find this guy and go beat him up.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of bad stuff happened in the back, the old days, if you will. This is going to bring us over to April 6th, 1967. Hegdahl is on his ship. He is 3 miles off the coast of Vietnam. The ship's 5-inch gun. You guys had a 5-inch gun on your boat, right? So
Sure did.
If you guys don't know, that's that big
I still
ass
have a
cannon.
5-inch gun.
Dude. What we used to do, by the way, was the 5-inch gun is the forward gun on the ship. I was on a destroyer.
Same, yeah.
And it's tin can soldiers, baby. So when they would fire this thing, it was like you get excited about it. I remember.
yeah.
Yeah, that was, you wanted to be topside to go hang out for it.
Oh,
You
it
could
was sick.
Yeah, your entire ship just goes backwards when they shoot it. And then my other job was what we would do on board the USS Kearney was you would take the shell. If you could get the shell before it fell over the side of the ship, we would then take it, bring it down into the general workshop, put it on the metal lathe. I'd hit it with the plasma cutter, and then the machinery repairman guy, the MRs, shout out Daryl Tate, my boy. He used to turn them into ashtrays.
My best friend's dad an ashtray.
They're the coolest thing ever, man.
Yeah,
So,
from a 5-inch fired in the Red Sea. So I was like pretty excited. about
how do you beat that one, man?
Yeah.
I have one somewhere. I think I lost it down in Jacksonville. We'll see what happens. They just put the ship's coin in the center. It's a pretty cool deal. But it's not a wildly violent shake, but I'm going to imagine that a 5-inch gun being shot on a World War II era, slightly updated, but I'm sure still outdated ship like the Canberra, apparently knocks our boy Hegdahl over the side of the ship.
Yeah.
So he falls on it. He literally is over the side of the ship now. And this poor kid is relatively new to the duty station too. I don't think he was like, he wasn't like Mr. Popular or anything. He wasn't a guy that was well established you'd want to bump into in the morning. He has now fallen overboard first thing on that morning. He's not even noticed as missing until about 11:30 later that day. So it's almost lunchtime before they realize one of their shipmates is gone. Not a great look. Not a great
Nobody
look.
was on lookout at all. Nobody was on watch.
No lookout, and it wasn't until they did the muster later in the day, and they're like, "Hey, where the hell's Hegdahl?" And they're like, I don't know." And they tore up the ship for him twice. They're looking over the side now for everything they can do here, and he's gone. They actually wrote him up as missing/lost at sea.
Damn.
Yeah, you ever see The Pacific on HBO?
No.
My dad and I were watching that, and there was one scene that actually, I don't even think it was The Pacific. It was either The Pacific or Flags of Our Fathers. But what was great about it was it's all the Marines are up on the ship, and they're all, like checking everything out. They're waving to the other ships and stuff. And somebody falls overboard, but they're on their way to an island hopping campaign in Japan in World War II. And this guy falls overboard, and he's sitting there, and he pops up, he goes, "Guys, I'm okay, letting you know that he landed okay on the water.
Yeah.
And he goes, "The ships aren't stopping."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, pal. We can't stop the entire war effort because you fell over the side of the ship.
Right, yeah.
And that one just haunted me.
Yeah.
Because also the other one too is when you fall into the water, even from a ship like that, you're in there for a couple hours. By the time they even get a chance to come rescue you.
Right,
So
yeah.
just get them a flotation device if you can. and then wait for our search and rescue kid. Our search and rescue kid actually total badass. He went and joined up with the SEAL teams about a year later.
Oh, cool.
So he probably would have had you in about an hour 45.
Right, yeah.
But it was still, you're going to be floating out in the water for a minute.
Yeah, goddamn.
Our poor boy Hegdahl, he is floating out there. Luckily, he gets saved by he's out for a few hours until a kind Vietnamese fisherman will bring him aboard his boat. And according to Hegdahl himself, he goes, treated me very well. He was, are you okay? Do you need food? What do you need here? He had fallen overboard in the morning, wasn't even noticed, like I said, till later on that day. Had the fisherman not found him, rather, he would have drowned because, as we said, he's about a 3-mile swim away from land, which is no picnic even in wonderful conditions.
No, God, no. I couldn't swim 3 fucking miles.
A mile swim in the Boy Scouts when I was of Boy Scout age was like an endurance thing for me. I was like, holy shit, I did it. Now do it 3 times over with no breaks in between and no lifeguard making sure you're not going under.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 miles is tough.
Against the current. Did you know you could swim your PRT in the Navy?
Only later on did I find that out.
Same.
It was what the older guys were doing to get away with it.
Yeah.
PRT is every 6 months they test your physical readiness. And what you do is that guys would start figuring out, like, hey, what if I do my run on the elliptical? And then you're like, I feel like that's cheating. And they're like, what instead if I just go to Lamaze class, huh? Yeah. What about that, guys? But yes, that was the older guy's cheat code was to swim your PRT.
Yeah, because my chief engineer, he swam in college at Utah, and he was fat. I mean, he wasn't like fat, but he just had a belly to him, and he never worked out. And then every 6 months, he would just get in the water and pass his PRT. I was like, damn, I got to figure this out.
I remember, this is why I know I'm 5'9", by the way, because if I was 5'8", I think my weight was okay. But because I was 5'9", they're like, you're actually overweight. So I remember you used to have to crunch your neck.
Yeah.
When they would do the weigh-ins for you, because they measure your neck, and then they measure your waist, and then they subtract it from each other, and there's a formula, and that tells you your body fat percentage.
Yeah. I
was fat the entire time I was in the best shape of my life, and they're like, yeah, you're still fat, dude. You're only gonna pass on body fat percentage. You're never gonna pass by your weight.
Yeah, same.
But then again, I wonder how old the standards were too.
Right. Gotta be completely different, because you could have a guy who was like, we had a couple of guys who were like really jacked, and they were told they were too fat. And they were solid fucking muscle. But somebody was like scrawny and smoked cigs all day. They let them go.
Oh, yeah. If you had what we'd refer to as a twinkish body, that was exactly like, oh, come right on up, man. Assign you up here, buddy. Now, I don't know what the build is on our boy Hegdahl here, but I do know that when he gets turned over to the Vietnamese, the fisherman saves his life, but they do turn him over to Vietnamese militiamen who beat the absolute shit out of him with rifles and torture him for a couple of days before they escort his South Dakotan ass off to the infamous Hanoi Hilton.
Yeah.
So, Harrington, have you heard of the Hanoi Hilton?
Yeah, wasn't that where Jane Fonda performed?
I literally wrote in here, I said there's a certain amount of words that you can say, as soon as you say Hanoi, people are going to click it up with Jane Fonda, who I'm torn on this one, because Jane Fonda back in the day, that's one of the prettiest women I've ever seen in my life.
Sure, yeah.
But then when you're stupid enough to take photos with the anti-aircraft guns that are shooting down your own troops.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a level of cognitive dissonance I just don't own.
Well, it was under the guise of protest, I believe. Sure, yeah. But, you know, it the classic American performative liberal. Well, you know, like...
Oh, well said. I like this.
Thank you. Just like a person of privilege, born decent to rich, attractive, and now hot, in my opinion, is the number one privilege that you can have.
10,000%.
Hot, then rich, then we can say white. Although I think mid-Asian chicks are still more privileged than white dudes. Look around comedy. But anyways, and to go there and like...
Oh, he's got the photo up there, yep.
Yeah, and then take photos and like smiling and stuff like that. Like you're just... As if these guys don't have their own level of sadistic nature to them themselves.
So if her trip that she was on, which by the way, everybody forget, this is how you know he pulled like a great move on this. Donald Sutherland was with her on that trip. Kiefer's dad.
Oh, yeah.
And Donald Sutherland is smart enough to not take that photo. What she did is she went over there and she went on a couple of radio broadcasts and she was talking about ending the war and how this isn't the will of the American people. We're not the ones that want this to be done. So she's saying what you just said, performative liberal stuff. I love that line. And what the problem was is that if she had done all of that, we probably could have moved on from it quicker. When you take that photo, that damning one where you're posing with the enemy and their guns and you're smiling and clapping and everything, that is the reason why, and I know this as a guy who's played plenty of VFWs, that she's still on the urinal in most VFWs.
Yeah. There was she did a book signing a few years ago. I think within the last like 10 years or so, and a Vietnam vet waited in line to get his book signed and spit on her. And
to her credit, she's apologized for the picture. She wasn't apologizing for the other appearances.
Well, because it's propaganda for the enemy. You know, it's one thing to have a differing opinion. I didn't have opinions that always aligned with the government, even when I was in.
Nope.
You know what I mean? But you didn't see me with my arm around Osama bin Laden, you know, like in photos. So.
You were just following orders. You know who else was just following orders? My DoorDash delivery guy. I hated all that. That was my favorite part when they told you, they said, when you're in the military, you can't have a public political opinion. And I was like, oh, I might just stay in because it's so fun not having to comment on this shit.
Oh, my God. Take me back.
Well, the specific Hanoi Hilton, which Harrington landed the great joke on it, the Hanoi Hilton was a prison, which remains controversial to this day. It is actually a museum now. Parts have been kept as a museum. You can go visit it in Vietnam. It is, in fact, the prison where Senator and almost President John McCain was kept. Mm-hmm. And, of course, there isn't too far from the word Hanoi. Like I said, you can get into the whole Jane Fonda stuff. If Sydney Sweeney was posing with Hamas right now, that's kind of the similar vibe that it would be setting off a lot of vitriol here. But I believe it's, I think it's Army Ranger School. Somebody told me this. I don't know if they still do it, but when it's lights out in Ranger School, they say... good night, Jane Fonda, and the response from everybody is supposed to be, good night, bitch. So they still hate her guts.
Nice.
But like I said, to her credit, she apologized for the photo, didn't apologize for her going over there, but it was classic. You think everybody's culture is the same to yours, and you're like, if we just be kind to everybody, it'll all go away.
Right, yeah.
But there was a lot of nonsense here. There's plenty of things to criticize about the Vietnam War. In fact, this prison that we're now keeping American POWs in was built by the French, who warned us not to go in the first place. It was taken over by the Northern Vietnamese Army. The prison began holding American prisoners of war and was sarcastically dubbed the Hanoi Hilton because, you know, Hilton hotel chain is pretty popular. It's a nice stay over there typically. Mm-hmm. And
so many rewards points.
That's they were the best.
At the Hanoi Hilton.
We actually stayed at Hilton on the Green in Dubai for about 2 weeks before I left when we were finally rotated out over there. And I just sat there. And everybody who was being smart with it, like, if you pay with your own credit card, you actually get the points for everything. And I was like, yeah, but then don't you have to pay for the? And they're like, yeah, but then you get the points. And they kept saying the points enough where I was like, it sounded like that scene from Idiocracy where like, yeah, but it has what plants need. It has what plants needs. The points
electrolytes.
Are they more? It's insane, dude. But the Hanoi Hilton, this one is not exactly a luxury hotel. Very poor conditions, low quality, scarce food, and whether they want to admit it or not, Vietnam is still denying that they ever tortured anybody here, which is why our boy comes in. He's really the linchpin.
They still deny that?
As of the 2000s, they were still denying it because not even a full denial. They just say, well, that was in the past. We just have such a great relationship with you guys now.
Sure,
why don't we just let by? Remember that time that, remember that time that you roughed up your significant other at Thanksgiving? You're like, yeah, but it's almost Christmas now. Let's focus on Christmas.
Right. Remember that time we put bamboo shoots under your fingernails? Just gloss it over.
It was Kwanzaa. Come on. Everybody was crazy. No one knows how to celebrate. The prison, like I said, as known as the Hanoi Hilton, survivors of this prison are going to be able to tell stories about their neglect, the beatings, the torture, the malnourishment, which was done purposefully. Starvation is a weapon, folks. And other acts that would be considered war crimes. We never actually charged them with war crimes, but this does violate everything we have. So Derek's right on that one. Bamboo up your fingers and all sorts of punji sticks to stab you with. The movie The Deer Hunter didn't have to take a ton of creative liberties. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So
yeah.
Now the survivors were able to tell their story thanks largely to the actions of our boy Hegdahl. Hegdahl is immediately highly suspicious when the Vietnamese get their hands on him. his, albeit a true story, of being thrown overboard from his ship seemed impossible to them. They're like, "No, we just caught ourselves one of these spy commando Navy SEAL boys. They think they have Demo Dick Marcinko, boom, loserception. They think they have him, but they do not. And Hegdahl's able to convince him, guys, no, I just fell off my ship. I was being clumsy.
Right.
And he realized, he plays this game in his head. He goes, hang on, I'm playing dumb and they're being nicer to me. I'm going to play dumber.
Right.
And he just dumbs it. He truly dumbs it up. If you could give this guy an Oscar, this is the guy that deserves an Academy Award for pulling this one off. I was so enthralled by this story. Do you know this one, Harrington? Are you figuring it out?
I mean, is this exactly what Robert Downey Jr. tells you not to do?
Yes.
For acting.
And another reference from that movie, this is where he actually becomes Simple Jack to a degree. So there are not one but two references to Tropic Thunder in this story. So it's very interesting because he's going to play dumb. He gets out of it on this one thing here, but he's going to have to play a little bit dumber if he wants to see just how far he can get this. Yes, he's going to play dumb. He's able to convince his captors that he was no Navy SEAL or a commando. He's just a simple country boy with a South Dakota upbringing. You might call me a bumpkin.
Right.
He plays it. So, and by the way, what I'm doing is charming compared to how dumb he must have had to be for the story.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He went almost full retard.
It's 10,000% what he does. And it's almost, they actually start being nice to him because they're like, well, every culture has, they're like, he's not operating with his full faculties. Let's be a little kinder to him.
Right, yeah.
They beat on his ass for several days until it becomes apparent to them that this is not just one of those stupid Americans. This is one of those folksy, extra stupid ones who probably couldn't pass his tests to get sent over here, but got sent over here due to a lack of manpower. So they do have hopes for him. They say, we're going to try to get something out of this country idiot. And the Vietnamese captors, if you will, tell him, they say, hey, we're going to have you write some anti-American letters for, propaganda for us, and it's going to, demoralize people. And it's psychological warfare is what they're trying to play here. So write a bunch of nasty stuff about America, how you don't believe in your mission. And he goes, well, I can't read, nor can I write. And he's stuck to that story.
Yeah.
For so long. They assigned him a teacher to teach him to read and write.
Yeah. That's
and
crazy.
He tuned out the teacher and just frustrated the Vietnamese education system failed this young man to the point where they bailed and quit on him. Right. Yeah. So they bail and quit on him. They say, we can't even teach him how to read and write. We're not going to. They start referring to him as the incredibly stupid one. Yeah. And when they realize that he is, a moron, an imbecile, whatever word you want to throw at it that was once a medical term.
Right, yeah.
He's portraying the character so well that they actually let him just kind of have the run of the camp.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're in that situation, like, it's you're one of those guys. We have a similar thing going on, too. I get told this. If I try to play dumb, they're like, come on, you know better.
Yeah.
Right? But if I try to be too smart, they're like, shut up. You're a moron, dude. What are you even trying to...
Right.
They can't wait for you to trip over a word or use something in the wrong, say parentheses when you meant ellipses, something like that. And any smart thing I've ever said in my life is getting beaten out of me in that moment.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Primal Fear?
Richard Gere.
Edward Norton. Yeah, Ed Norton got nominated for an Oscar, and he was playing somebody with split personalities. Not to spoil the movie, but I'm going to spoil the movie. And you end up finding out the dumb guy was never really there. He was just always he was conniving.
He played, because there's a natural sympathy that we tend to.
Right.
So it's weird. They're showing him humanity. They're also being degrading to him and calling him the incredibly stupid one.
Yeah.
But they're also like, well, we'll just let him run around and he can have some freedom in the camp. We don't have to keep him in a cage. It feels mean to keep a hard R word in a cage. You know what I mean? That'd be great too if they're censoring themselves. Picture the Vietnamese captors and they're like this guy. I swear he fucking retard. Hey, the correct term is actually disability. He has disability.
Developmentally challenged.
Well, here's why our boy, Mr. Hegdahl, is going to become an absolute hero. This is the most badass thing you can possibly do by playing dumb. He's going to become an absolute hero almost overnight. It takes him a while to get all this information, but after sticking to his character, and mind you, sticking through a couple of beatings through all this, allowing people to just tee off on him, probably verbally assaulting him, I'm sure a bunch too, when you're trying to teach him to read and write and he's not learning.
I don't know how beating somebody makes somebody go, oh, you're right. You know what? I'm so smart. I mean, really, honestly, if somebody started hitting me and be like, do better, I'm like, I can't now.
It's
it probably actually helped him out in convincing his story. He's like, well, I'm tired. I'm just gonna be me at this point.
I just pictured the miracle worker, but she's just shadow boxing Helen Keller until she say water. I'm gonna say water. But Hegdahl's going to become known around the Hanoi Hilton by the Vietnamese as, literally, this is what they call him. I forget the actual word, I can't get, but the translation is the incredibly stupid one. And he sticks in this hillbilly character to the point where he's able to start collecting intelligence. I thought this was worth mentioning, too. It's you guys know this without knowing it. So I don't know if, Harrington, how obnoxious is knocking on the table going to be?
What do you mean?
If I had to knock on the table, how obnoxious is that going to sound audio-wise?
Nothing more than your normal speaking voice.
Okay, so this, I swear to God, you want to hear the code that the POWs were using with each other at the Hanoi Hilton? You're going to know it in the booth. I'm going to signal you. If you're a new arrival, I hear your cell door open, okay? This is how I'm going to figure out if you're friendly or not. This is what it was. You figured it out.
Oh, I mean, that's it. That's
shaving a haircut.
Yeah.
Shaving a haircut, 2 bits. That's what it is. So that's how
Roger Rabbit.
Well, that's how they were signaling to each other that they were friendly. So if you knew how to do that little knocking thing, that's when they could figure you out. So that's the coded messaging that they have. And the other intel officers, most of these guys are pilots. What do you got, handsome?
That's like in The Wire season 4, where the dudes are just running around asking who the morning sports talk DJs are.
Yeah, you got. And then he started in New York.
Yeah.
You got to ask him something local. Only somebody would know. That'd be great if you tried that in New Jersey. And you're like, hey, do you guys know where I can get a good Taylor ham here? Did you mean pork roll, son? Yes. But that's how they're communicating with each other, is shaving a haircut, 2 bits. First 5 knocks of the signal, the response is the 2 bits there. That allows you to trust the person that you're dealing with in the cell next to. Now here, due to his perceived Forrest Gump-like intelligence, we'll go the nicer way of saying that one. Hegdahl is pretty much given free reign of the camp. He is credited with taking somewhere between 3 to 5 Vietnamese trucks out of commission, because when everyone's just kind of like, oh, look at the little mentally challenged fella running around over here, when they're not paying attention to him, he's putting dirt into their engines.
So I read that and I thought maybe they thought he was so dumb he thought that's how engines ran, was on dirt, and he was like, I put dirt in. And they were like, oh, simple Don, doesn't understand how it works.
Get this stupid one, think truck work on dirt. Yeah. Get out of here, rapscallion.
Yeah, so I thought upon reading that, like, that was like part of his ploy. But nope, turns out the man was sneaky.
He was very crafty.
Yeah.
This one is the one that makes him a full legend, though. I think I'd like to think that any of us in a POW camp, Dom himself would actually have just killed his captors and left because he's a Mossad agent. But it's no, it's
now he's with the Mossad.
Yeah, he jumps around a lot. He's Dom is what you would refer to as a soldier of fortune. That's why.
Mercenary.
The world of freelancing and sound engineering, it calls to him because it frees him up for other things, other activities he has.
Yeah. After he's done here, he's going to go look for Ghislaine Maxwell. Take her out.
Funny enough, he did some work for her in the past. But now, being able to walk around the camp because the Vietnamese are thinking that you're too dumb to matter, he's now able to start notice and gathering intel on the layout of the camp, which comes in crucial here later on. He's also able to get ideas on just how many prisoners are actually being held at the Hanoi. Now, you can't write anything down for 2 reasons. Number one, the Vietnamese think you can't read and write. So if you prove them wrong, they're going to be like, oh, the jig is up, right?
Yeah.
Number 2 is, even if your jig is exposed here, now on top of that, you're going to be a con man, and now you have evidence here on you. So now you're either going to wind up in one of those cells, or you might start getting some of the beatings and the tortures that these guys are subjected to. So he's got to be very careful with this one. So he's going to wind up memorizing 256 names. 256 names this kid has to. And not only that, he's going to memorize 256 names of fellow prisoners. He's going to memorize their ranks, where they're from, what their job is, how they were captured, and when they were captured.
That's so fucking amazing.
Memorizes 256 versions of this.
Yeah.
The way he does it is pretty incredible. Dom, I'll give you one wild guess as to what song he uses to teach himself how to do this. It's very simple. It's probably one of the first songs you were taught as a child. It's when you hear it, you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. It's
Wet ass pussy.
Could you repeat that one more time? What was...
So in order to remember the 256 names of the prisoners that he's going to try to get, because that's the only way you can have a database of who's actually captured. Really, by the way, you accidentally asked an awesome question. Most of these guys are considered missing in action. So to delineate between missing in action and a prisoner of war, prisoners of war, when you're fighting a respectable enemy, will say, we have these people captured. The Vietnamese are not really giving us the fair exchange of information that we would want on that. So you have these guys that are just considered missing in action. You're about to send Chuck Norris after them, right? In not one but two movies. But now, in order to figure out that they're prisoners of war, if somebody gets out, they can say, by the way, these guys are alive and here's where they are. So he has to remember 256 prisoners' names, ranks, where they're from, when they were captured, and how they got captured. And I'll give you, he literally writes a song in his head. He has to sing it to himself daily, and he has to remember 256 names. The smart answer would be It's the End of the World as We Know It by REM, but that does not come out for about another 30 years. So if you had to guess what song, what tune this kid's going to sing to himself to remember 256 names, what are you going with?
The Name Game song.
The Name Game? Dude, Name Game would work. Kane, McCain, his dad's a senator. John McCain, he got shot out of his plane. That's
His daughter's got big tits.
McCain.
That's all I can think of. I don't know.
Buddy, that was gold. You just gave me a solid riff on that. Thank you, Dom. He's the best. You'll never guess it anyway. It was we set you up for failure. Go ahead.
Can I take a shot?
Please.
There was a sergeant from Ohio, and McCain was his name. Oh,
So you're going bingo.
Either bingo or Old MacDonald.
So I heard it as bingo because the correct answer is Old MacDonald had a farm.
There we go.
He sings Old MacDonald had a farm to himself and memorizes 256 people's names and major details about their lives. Sings the song to himself every single day so that he can get the information out. This is where it becomes even more important. This is all, by the way, under the guise of him being a moron. So, there's times that he's just singing Old MacDonald in front of his captors, and they're like, look at this fucking moron.
Right.
What are we doing with this? Thank God we what? That's all. It's the only song he knows, I guess, whatever. Yeah. But, yes, to the tune of a children's song, he has now hidden in his brain critical and vital military intelligence, and it's about to change people's lives. All of the prisoners at the Hanoi Hilton, I thought this was pretty badass. People have conflicted opinions about John McCain. One thing you got to give him credit for, his dad's famous, and they want to exchange him because he's a high priority prisoner. Mm-hmm. They think they can get a bunch of stuff in return for him. John McCain, to his credit, along with everybody else at the Hanoi Hilton, says, we're not leaving till everybody leaves. There's no early release for us.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty badass. Also, one thing I love about John McCain, he wanted to simplify the cable packages. He thinks you should only have to pay for the amount of channels you want. So if you want 5 channels, you should have a smaller bill than someone who wants 100.
Well, God bless him.
He was so close to pulling it off, and that's when the Illuminati took him out. Yeah. All right? The streaming wars of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
But I just want to watch Monday Night Football, folks. I have YouTube TV. Someone help me out. Anyway, Doug Hegdahl is pulling this whole thing off, and they realize that here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to take this kid's steel trap memory, the fact that he's conned his own captors into thinking he's a moron. He's full of vital military intelligence. Let's get him released. He's the only guy in the Hanoi Hilton that's going to be allowed to have a regular release. It's him and 2 other officers that wind up getting released for an exchange over here. None of the guys are accepting it, but they all agree, let's get Hegdahl out of here, and he can get word back to everybody at home. Number 1, who's here? Number 2, what's going on over here? So,
Smart.
It was a genius move, man. Now, again, Hegdahl is released, and he's given a full debriefing over here. The Vietnamese in their minds are like, we're going to give you one of your guys back, and you're going to give us a bunch of stuff in return. We're going to come to the table. We're going to have a nice, peaceful negotiation with you in Paris. Look, we're giving you some of your prisoners back. Remember your valued fucking moron, the fucking stupid guy who just sings the fucking song. Anyway, you guys take him, and then what are you going to give us back in return for this idiot we just traded you?
Right.
And it's one of those great stories in American history, man. they release the most important guy over there.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets over there, now I wish that we could have it to be a fly on the wall in the debriefing room there. They say, okay, I guess he was a seaman apprentice at the time. And they would just say, okay, we'll give him a petty officer rank just for this. Petty Officer Hegdahl, tell us everything you know over there. Well, enough with the show tunes, Hegdahl. What did they do to you over there? No. The song has a meaning. Trust me.
Yeah, John McCain from Arizona.
They actually, I swear to God, they
Blew up
actually
the USS Forrestal.
Catastrophe IO. This is true, and I was laughing reading it. And maybe it's not entirely true because of where I read it, because you have to second guess everything on the internet. But apparently he could only sing the song at one speed. So they would ask him in the debriefing, they're like, can you slow down so we can get, the guy's, information, his date of birth that you remembered, all these crazy facts.
Right.
He's like, guys, I've been doing this every day for about a year and a half. I don't know how to slow it down right now. I got one speed, go.
Yeah. Work with the guy. He just got of the Hanoi Hilton.
Yes, and if he tried to slow it down, he would buff some of the answers.
Give him a little bit of leeway.
As a moron podcast producer, I know just record it and then slow down the recording.
Yeah.
That would be so. Now the problem was all of the great recording gear around this time was being used for a very important project called MK Ultra, and what they were learning about the effects of psychedelics on people's brains. Yes, that would be 100% the move. But unfortunately, there's this debriefing thing. I'm sure it's just a guy with a pencil trying to write this down. And eventually, after probably 256 iterations of Old MacDonald Had a Farm, they do get the list of the 250. And most of these guys, by the way, were missing in action. Now they confirm not only are they alive and well, so missing in action means anything.
They didn't have like a stenographer.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, that would have been, whatever. I just got out of jury duty the other day. So it's easy for me to think about this shit.
Did you know how to get out of jury duty?
Yeah.
You just go up and tell them that you're racist, right? Isn't that what every stupid person tells you?
I ended up doing it for 4 days. I did jury selection. I was the last person they asked what my thoughts and feelings were.
Oh, see, I didn't even get
about
that
the
far.
case. Yeah. No, and I told them, I'm like, I'm on the cop side.
That's always the dumb. I always talk about people in Jersey giving unqualified advice. Mm-hmm. But that was the dumb advice I always got. Like, there'd be a kid like a sophomore in high school, and he's going to tell you what to do to survive prison. And you're like, why do you know this? Why do you think you're qualified to tell this?
Right.
But this same kid was always be like, you just go up to jury duty, you'd be like, yo, I'm racist. They let you out right away.
Right.
I was like, have you ever had jury duty? He goes, no, but my uncle, who's very racist, did this, and it worked out for him. We haven't seen him in many years. He went out for cigarettes. He's coming back any day now.
That's entered into public record.
It's the dumbest thing possible. So just take it. Bring a book with you. All right. I read Ed Burns' entire book that day while I was sitting there waiting for it.
I was reading Blood Meridian.
That's now what you could read to make people suspect if you showed up with the anarchist cookbook.
Right. Or Mein Kampf.
I was reading the Unabomber's manifesto here recently, before jury duty, I don't think I was very political at all. But as I've been sitting here waiting for you to tell me I can go to lunch, become rather radicalized.
Yeah, I was reading Helter Skelter, and I thought of some great ideas.
It unlocked a memory I had. But point is on this one is our boy's out now, and Hegdahl's the most important guy that they can get out over here. Not only is he proving these guys alive, their eventual returns are now going to become a reality. Takes a ton of negotiation, but the sweet, sweet piece of poetic justice here is this. It involves a couple interesting people. Number one, Kissinger and Nixon are over there in Paris doing the peace accords to try to withdraw us from Vietnam. You're trying to find a way to, it's not necessarily surrender, but it's we're gonna cease military action. We're gonna get out of there, and we completely screwed over South Vietnam. Complete, because we set it up. We're like, hey, for 18 months, if you guys are bullies, we're coming back. But after 18 months, you'll never see us again.
Right.
So they just had to play the waiting game, and that's why the fall of Saigon happens. That's why everything went to absolute shit there. Ironically, we do have good relationships with Vietnam now, and I think it's mostly because they saw the light a little bit. on
Sure.
on a couple of things.
Yeah.
So-
Also tourism dollars.
And manufacturing money. So many of our
Yeah.
things are coming from Vietnam now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's all because of our boy Hegdahl getting over there. So now Kissinger is there with Nixon. They're negotiating these things, and the NVA, the Northern Vietnamese Army, who's going to be the presiding government over the whole country, will not admit to war crimes. They're not admitting to war crimes at all. Hegdahl gets sent over there. So this guy who you literally tortured and thought was the stupid idiot, it is his Kaiser Soze moment of when he just walks and he goes, well now, looks like the country bumpkins come back to let you roosters get a little bit of hollering going on now, wouldn't you say? So he walks in, just go with it.
Oh no, I was just thinking of that last scene where he's just like, he's not walking with the limp anymore, and he throws the cigarette in his mouth. He's like, it's been me the whole time.
Yeah, he goes from he just changes characters. He's all of a sudden he's I can't believe I'm blanking.
He shows up with like a monocle.
That's right. Hello, yes, boys. How are things? I believe I haven't seen you since you referred to me as the incredibly stupid one. Tell me, did your truck work on its way over here?
I put dirt in it.
But yeah, dude, Ed Norton playing him would be pretty killer now, based off the Primal Fears thing. Hegdahl is arriving and will give firsthand accounts of the conditions and the torture that the Vietnamese officials were in total denial of. For a large part of these negotiations, the Vietnamese couldn't figure out how the Americans knew how many prisoners were in different parts of the country. The guy who was saber-rattling the most, also a former Navy officer, also almost a president, just like John McCain. John McCain's release is secured in large part to what Hegdahl did here, by the way. And those guys have like a bond forever because they all wrote books about how they were tortured over there. But the guy who was saber-rattling about there's more people over here that we don't know about, how do we get, let's not like shake hands with these guys that we've been fighting a war with for, the better part of a decade. Mm-hmm. Maybe let's smack them around a little bit, and you guys got to give me, if you want me gone, I'm taking all my guys with me. Fucking Ross Perot.
Yeah, Ross Perot is a badass.
He is, the more you read about him, you're like, why
wasn't he president?
Why was he belittled to sketches on All That where he was Earboy's father?
Yeah. Why? It goes back to my hatred of the establishment politics, and seeing that he wasn't going to play like that role, for them in terms of like they wanted him out because he made the most sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
That giant sucking sound you're hearing is the two-party system sucking the life out of this country.
Yep.
Anyway, the next giant sucking sound you're going to be hearing is all y'all on my dick. My name's Ross Perot.
Yeah, he was a badass.
Absolutely. He's going to have his own episode of this show eventually, just based off of it. But we try to stay away from some politics. But that guy also tried to stay away from politics. He goes, how about we just do the right thing?
Yeah,
that'd be great if we did the right thing every now and then.
Yeah.
So Ross Perot sends him over there, and these Vietnamese people have to be shitting themselves when they see the country bumpkin, speaking very intelligently and with great detail about the war crimes that they were committing. So there are no formal charges for the war crimes. The details are given and showcased the cruelty via all the survivors writing their own books, like I was saying. McCain wrote his, I think it was Faith of My Fathers. It was his book. There's a couple other books on there, too. Don't worry, we're wrapping up, too, pal.
No. Sorry, it's spam.
Worth noting, like I said, Ross Perot does send him over there, and there will be an operation afterwards known as Operation Homecoming, which will return the proven names from Hegdahl's list. So the man who played dumb and saved countless lives in the process, including his own, by letting people believe the entire time that he was the stupid one, is a pretty damn good story.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Guy, and by the way, you want to know what happened to him?
Well, he was an E5. I believe he got out as an E5, and then he went on to go teach school. Yeah.
He's by the way still alive, folks. So when you're thanking a veteran on this Veterans Day, you're thanking the incredibly stupid one who saved several senators and got sent by an almost president to
Petty
go
officer dirt and gas tank. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, 79 years of age. By the way, he wound up getting into Siri training, which I don't know if you knew about. Not Siri. I'm afraid to say Siri around enough Apple devices. But Siri training is SERE, I believe. It's survive, evade, resist
An escape.
and escape. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you ever, so I knew two guys that went to those trainings. They said it's the most badass training that's made available. It's for downed pilots and downed air crews.
Yeah, that's sick. I would have been captured and they would have been like, this guy actually is retarded. this guy's a fucking idiot.
Now sing a song. Sing a song, I dare you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Siri training's pretty badass, man. My one buddy was an instructor for it. He was also Miami-Dade SWAT, and then he's now a officer in the Navy Reserves, too.
No kidding.
And his brother is Montel Vontavious Porter from WWE.
Whoa.
I never told you that story, Harrington? Yeah, this so it's his birthday today, too. I was texting with him earlier. He was like my mentor in the Navy. So I don't want to say his last name on the show, but let's just say it's the same as mine. Literally the same. Giant black dude, awesome guy, one of the best dudes I ever met in the military.
Are you guys related?
So that was the running joke in our unit that we had.
Of course.
And obviously he's 6 foot 10, looks like Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah.
And so the joke we always had was when a new person would get to the unit, they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to go see Little Burke about that." And then people would come over to me and like, "No, I'm actually Big Burke.
I'm actually Big
I don't know
Burke.
if you knew that."
That's hilarious.
So, but he was a great guy. We used to get pretty tuned up together. Awesome too, which was not I think the ranks, whatever the ranks you were allowed to hang out with.
Yeah.
We just threw all that to the wayside in my last unit because they were just like, "You're funny, dude. You can hang out."
Right,
It's the
yeah.
same thing that happened to me at parties where they're like, "Hey, no girls are going to hook up with this guy and he's funny. Let's bring him around, man."
Right,
So
right.
All of a sudden I'm hanging out with seniors and juniors in school and stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Jokes seem to get me places.
I used to hang out with the officers.
That's another animal.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
The Mustang officers, which meant that they were former enlisted, those were the cool. This is there was a hot minute that I thought I had herpes. And I'll never forget it.
Very hot. Man.
So it turns out what it was is that I just had an infection in my mouth, and so they got that squashed or whatever. So, but for about the 3 days before we confirmed that I didn't have herpes, I'll never forget it. He was a Mustang officer. He was my division officer. He pulls me aside. He goes, "Hey, when I was in college, I had a scare like yours, and somebody told me about this website called herpesconnection.com. And what you do is you go onto it and you meet other people with herpes, and the agreement is that you just don't, you don't have to divulge that you have it because everybody in here has already done that. So there's no shame of like, hey, by the way, I have this."
Right.
And then he told me, he goes, "And you're near a party school. The University of North Florida is right here." He goes, "Burke, you getting herpes might finally get you laid."
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious.
But yeah, Mr. Hegdahl, if you can hear this, maybe your grandkids or something like that, or podcast enthusiasts or gomites, I don't know. But whatever the case might be, absolute salute for you playing the dumb guy and coming out on top on this one. Absolute badass story on that one.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Derek,
amazing.
you want to? I love hanging with you, buddy. Where can people find you? This is coming out next week, so you can't even plug the big shows you got coming up. But
Oh, just subscribe to my YouTube. I'm at Hump Derek on everything.
it's
I am Venmo, Cash App, the whole 9 yards. At Hump Derek, but yeah, look
mad
for my
funny
YouTube.
too, by the way,
Thanks,
folks.
man.
All right.
Thanks,
Sometimes
man.
I bring people in here because they're just cool. You're actually. I would tell people to go see your stand up.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, watch my special on YouTube. I need the views. I need the money.
100%.
I'm so broke.
I think I messaged you because we had that same issue where you said something and you got.
I got demonetized.
Yeah.
I'm not even allowed to put money into the advertising. I had a phone call with Google.
Really?
I had a phone call with a person, a couple people at this point that worked at Google.
No way.
To try and sort it out, but their algorithm, because I have a joke about Biden, and this is how old this shit is now, and a joke about Chris Christie, and they said it was political campaigning.
That is the catch-all that they have for that. So what the people that they're wanting to mess with are not who they're messing with. You're a casualty of war on that one. I know because we beeped out someone's name on my special and it went up 10,000 views overnight. I didn't suddenly get funnier.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
what do you know?
But the other one that I thought was very amusing, I'll tell Harrington this real quick. I've already said it on the show before. My girl's pregnant. We're having a boy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, buddy. It's she's got 2 boys already, and the boys threw a total shit fit last night because they had decided that my son's name was going to be well, first of all, the idea that a 6-year-old gets to name my son bothers me.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, I'm a little annoyed by that. Now, it wasn't the worst name he could come up with, but for a guy that was making a lot of Joe Biden jokes, the idea that a 6-year-old was going to make me name my son Hunter, I think we did him a favor by not naming him that. So
Absolutely.
Also, give me some baby names in the comments here, folks. It can't be Hunter. We're not going with Hunter. So
Robinette.
Harrington, you got to bounce, obviously, buddy. Go see Mike Harrington down at Skankfest here, folks. Give him a hug. Tell everybody you're sad. I'm not there. What we're doing is it's a guilty thing. That's what we're
Cheer
throwing
for
around
him in
now.
a fight.
Yeah, Harrington's got. Next time you guys see Mike Harrington, we're going to know whether or not his streak of nonstop victories at Comedy Fest fighting is going to be alive and well. So, but anyway, you did your plugs already, man.
Yeah,
Brother,
thanks for having me, man.
No, dude, thanks for
Appreciate it.
coming and hanging, too.
Thanks, dude.
Happy Veterans Day, Derek.
Happy Veterans Day, man.
Dom, want to say thank you for always hanging in there in the booth with us, folks.
Thanks, ISIS Dom.
He's literally done a little bit of everything. Last week, he was a member of the Powhatan tribe while we talked about Pocahontas. But you guys know the deal with me. It's at KP Burke Sucks over on Instagram. That's where I'm having the most fun. I don't do Twitter. If you see a Twitter, it's probably not me. And then, of course, come see me out on the road. I got dates up on the website. It's KP Burke Comedy. And, folks, this show is the Passion Project. But the reason why we have the show is because I have a book out. It's called History Isn't Boring, Your Teacher Was. It's a bunch of weird stories from American history, and I'm also still putting out a reel a week of those little 90-second loser clips I like to do here. So if you want to support the show, that's the absolute best way to do it. Thank you again, and that was the incredibly stupid one, American Loser.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Not in first, never last, still erased from the past.